Good morning, students. A warm welcome to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Well, we are back to our English class. What makes a nation? I was explaining you that the Governor General of Free India, Sri Chakravarti Rajagopalacharya, was addressing the university students. When he comes to address the students, he finds the students very unruly, even when the Vice Chancellor and a girl of this university was trying to speak. So then he tries to insist the meaning of or the importance of character among the students. He says, can any of you boys who has been shouting and cheering and been disturbing the girl, can you come and stand in front of all the vast audience and can you deliver a speech? I should appreciate the Vice Chancellor's command, and most importantly, I should appreciate the young girl, your representative sister, who's been standing here and trying to proceed. She's so courageous that she proceeded even without being disturbed, and she completed her words. So I'm grateful. I really agree that I don't have that courage as your young representative sister had. I'm an old man and I'm speaking now, but she's so young, and most importantly, I appreciate the women cadre, the girl cadre, for uplifting equally along with the boys. And they are in the world of competency. They're competing equally with the boys. I really appreciate, because they are now improving not only at their brain and intelligence but also in their courage to compete equally with the boys. And then he says, it is very important for Mother India for a woman to be educated, because when a man gets educated, only another man gets educated. But when a woman is educated, the entire family gets educated. So I really appreciate, or I hope the girls come up not only to the primaries and the middle schools, high schools levels, but also to the university levels, because one girl educated is equal to 5 educated boys or graduate boys. Because when you have in your family a university mother, a mother who has been educated up to universities, the nation is built there. The entire nation is built there, students. So I really want the girls to improve. And then he says, when I saw you people in such a deteriorate position, I just wanted to recap your previous slide. I had feared that there was a deterioration in this matter in our country in recent times, and when I saw so vast a crowd in this place, I was a little doubtful whether you would maintain sufficient silence and discipline to let me complete my task. See, when I was trying to explain, I just gave you the slide of the small children over here, but in generally he was addressing the university students. How disciplined these students are, like that the very mob who had created a great disturbance to the Vice Chancellor and the girl representative, they were in utmost silence, and Rajagopalacharya's speech has really mesmerized them. It acted like magic words to make them silent, and they're very disciplined. So he says, I was a little doubtful whether you would maintain silence and discipline and let me complete my task of thanking you for all this affection you have bestowed upon me. Bestowed means to present. I'm really thankful that you have shown your discipline and you have shown your silence now. In the starting I was feared, if at all I will be able to proceed with my lecture, with my speech. I was feared. But now since you have maintained such silence and discipline, I thank you. So there we have halted, students, in the previous class. Let's continue. We are in very serious times because we are free. This is really appearing to be very puzzled, right? What is this? Rajagopalacharya or CR or Rajaji, what we call, he says it is a very serious time because we are free. Now when you are free, you have achieved something, you are happy. Why should we should say that we are in serious times? If we had not got freedom, the task would have been less serious. If only we would have not got freedom, what is our duty? To fight against the British and to release or to relieve your mother India. But now since she is relieved, you have to serve her. You should know how to serve her. The task would have been less serious. In the old days, our task was only to fight, to wrest freedom, enthuse one another, and carry on the work. What were our duties? You fight against British, you rest with them, and then you enthusiasm. You build a curiosity among the people to participate in the freedom fight. That was your duty. To motivate people to enter into the freedom fight, and then to fight against them and to wrestle up them. That was easy, as we know, but now that we had freedom and the entire burden of the future structure of our country is on our shoulders. What is shoulders? The meaning of shoulders is responsibility. What's the meaning of shoulders, students? He says that task was easy. Fighting with the British and making your mother India free is very easy. But now that we have freedom and the entire burden of the future structure of our country is on our own shoulders, we must be as true in our conduct and thoughts as a brick that supports a building is true. Each person over here is compared to a brick. Can you see? Each person over here is compared to a brick. How important is a brick to build a building? That important is the students for the nation. Okay, how important is it to build? I'm extremely sorry, students. So let us see how important it is to have bricks to build a building. That important it is to have good citizens to build a nation. Have you seen, students, how important we feel to have how important it is to have bricks to build a building, that important it is to have good citizens to build a nation. So you can see here, he says, that was an easy task to be participating in the freedom fight. But now that we have freedom and the entire burden of the future structure of a country is on our own shoulders, we have to bear the prosperity of the country on our shoulders. We have to be responsible for it. We must be as true our conduct in our conduct and thoughts. We should be very true in our conduct and thoughts as a brick that supports a building is true. We can deceive one another, but can we deceive dynamics? What is dynamic? Somebody who's having a positive attitude. Now, continuously, when you're trying to manipulate an optimistic person, you're trying to poison him. A positive attitude person will never get poisoned. He just nods his head and smiles at you, but he does because he knows what is right. He does what is correct. He never get deceived. So he said, we can deceive one another, but can we deceive dynamics? People who know this is the set rule, definitely you can't deceive them. And at the same time, can we deceive the laws of nature? Can we deceive the laws of nature? Now, I did not put good cement. I'm a greedy fellow. I've constructed the entire building with sand. Will it stand? No, it falls. You can't deceive nature. You can't take nature into your hands. You are greedy. You're completely wiping away acres of forests, pulling down hills, blocking up all the rivers. What happened? You thought you are very intelligent and you are manipulating nature. You are completely has taken nature into your hands. No. Now you've been a target for it. Can you see the natural calamities which is day to day destroying you? So every act what man makes to be thought carefully. That thinking is very important because you can't deceive nature. You can't deceive a dynamic. Can we deceive the laws of nature? If bricks are not true and good, and if they are not laid properly, the building will tumble. Definitely the building will fall. If you are not nicely building, nicely laid the bricks, and that also strong, good bricks, and nicely if you have not constructed, then definitely the building will tumble. Tumble means fall down. The building will fall, no doubt. Why did he say this? The require is the students. What does he mean by saying this? He mean to say that students ought to be strong. He mean to say students ought to be strong to become good citizens. He mean to say students ought to be strong to become good citizens. And only when there are good citizens, there is a good nation. Have you understood? That is why I said, showing you this picture, each person is equivalent to a brick. How strong a brick is, that strong the building will be. How strong the citizens are, that strong the nation is going to be. The utmost character required for students are to have a good conduct, honesty, faithfulness, and a very, very hard-working nature. If bricks are not true and good, and if they are not laid properly, the building will tumble down. Whatever may be the engineer's words or promise, engineer will say, never mind, extraordinary building I'll give you. Engineer is a very, very intelligent person or a hard-working person. What's the use? Today's politicians will come and say, I'm going to make a fabulous country. A golden country. Such a developed country we are going to make. But what is required? Not an engineer. Required is bricks. That means that today's students are tomorrow's citizens. That faithfulness and that hardworking nature and that dedication is required from the students who are tomorrow's citizens. And unless and until you inculcate that nature in you at a student level, how come you are going to be towards the prosperity of your country tomorrow as a citizen? In the national structure, we are dealing with depiction has no place. Depiction is deceiving. What is the meaning of deception? It is to deceive. Its meaning is what is the meaning, students? The meaning is to deceive. Okay. Okay, 1 minute, students. It means, deception means to in the national structure, we are dealing with the national structure. Means the prosperity of the country. What is national structure? Building in nation. Building a strong nation. In the national structure, we are dealing with. Now, we have freed our country, Mother India, from the British hands, and now we are trying to structure it. The British for the past 200 years, they've been ruling us and they've completely looted us. They made us weak. Now we have to build again, make ourselves strengthen. So once when we set rules in our constitution to nicely build a strong nation, what is required? Strength at the student level. From that level, when we inculcate a determination and a hard work and a faithfulness in their character, then definitely you will be making a strong nation. You will be making a strong nation. And the most important thing is, no deceiving qualities to be inculcated. You are not supposed to have a character of deceiving others. Deceiving means to cheat. So he says, deception has no place. Please don't try to be partial. Don't try to be selfish. Don't try to be cheating somebody else. You're cheating your own country. You're cheating yourselves, your society. So at this moment, we are not supposed to have it. Unless we are very strenuous in our conduct and honesty, in our minds, strenuously doing, strenuously, strongly, unless we have utmost pressure. Strain means to have utmost pressure on your conduct and honesty in your minds. So what is required for your conduct? You require a strenuous, and you require honesty for your minds. Unless and until you do it, we cannot make a glorious India. Unless and until you do this, remember students, we can't make a glorious India, he says. Whatever may be the policies and tactics of statesmanship. You know, every country has its policies. Every country has its tactics. But no country is unfaithful. No matter whatever policies you make to become a statesmanship, according to your situation, to your environment, you make some policies and you play some tactics. You know what is tactics? Manipulating, cleverly acting. No matter whatever you do to build a statesmanship, for every statesmanship, the common character is faithfulness. Whatever may be the science of politics and application of politics, whatever may be the organization of the government, ultimately, if we wish to make India not only free but glorious, as was the hope of those who fought for freedom, we will have to work hard, and you will all have to be thoroughly honest. So see how beautiful these words are, students. He says, we cannot make a glorious India unless and until there are these two qualities of honesty and hard work. No matter whatever policies you have, no matter whatever tactics you apply to become a statesmanship, the utmost quality is required in every policy. No matter whatever science of politics you have, or application of politics you have, or the organization of your government is going to be, the required quality is hard work and honesty. If you don't have these two qualities in your character, that is to be honest and that is to be hardworking, your nation is never built. And you are not a good statesman. Your country is going to get ruined, no doubt. It is just going to burn like a waste paper, no doubt. So all the policies, the common quality is required is hard work and honest. So what does he say? Every policy require honesty, and hard work. It is difficult to be straight. Is it difficult to be straightforward? So what is the other added quality he gives? Along with honesty, along with being hard work, along with having a good conduct, along to be very, very truthful to yourself. What is the other quality he is required? He says to be straightforward. Is it difficult to be straightforward? When you see somebody doing wrong, straightforwardly say it on his face that you are wrong. Unfortunately, in today's world, this has no place, students. There is no place for straightforwardness. The more you manipulate everybody, the more tactics you play with them, then you are honored. The more crooked you are, the more hypocritic you are, people will appreciate you. You know this person is wrong, but you have to praise him. Then you go to Mr. B and say Mr. A is a stupid fellow. And you start praising Mr. B. Then you come back to Mr. A and you say Mr. B is stupid fellow. And you start praising A. This is the world what we have set for ourselves today. This is the world. Excuse me. So he says, is it difficult to be straightforward? If anybody has any doubts about it, all that we work for would be vanity. If you have a doubt, if I'm straightforward, people will stamp me down, tod me down. If you have that doubt, remember, our freedom is just gone vain, useless. What is vanity? All the struggle what we had for our past 20 years, we have struggled to set our India free from the British hands, who's been ruling our country for approximate 2 centuries. People who are ruling our country for 2 centuries, we need 2 decades to free it. And you people will take hardly 2 years to destroy it. Is it difficult to be straightforward? If anybody has any doubts about it, all that we work for would be vanity. Please don't have a doubt that I'm not supposed to be straightforward. I have to be crooked. I have to be hypocritic. No nation will achieve when you're hypocritic, because British has taught us to be hypocritic. We were very genuine. Indians were very genuine, very faithful. We never had a quality of hypocrisy, but that was taught or introduced by the British. They were very, very crooked. So please leave that quality, Rajagopalacharya said. Unless we make up our minds that it is easy to be straightforward, easy to bear the troubles that arise out of straightforwardness and overcome them, the glory that our country deserves, we will never get. So, unless we are straightforward, and unless we are able to bear the troubles that comes from straightforwardness, definitely, when you are straightforward and on the face when you tell somebody that you are wrong, definitely he is going to create a trouble to you. But still, withstand yourself to be facing that trouble. The glory that our country deserves cannot be built. If you're not straightforward, remember, the glory will never be built. You can't build that glory, he says. We are not a small state like some of the states in Europe or anywhere in the world. Now remember, India is such a huge country. Can you see, students? India is such a huge country that when you compare to some of the countries in Europe, Turkey, say for example, a country, it's equivalent to Rajasthan or Maharashtra in our country, or it's smaller than Rajasthan in our country. So we have such huge country even after bifurcations. You have divided completely Bangladesh, separated Bhutan, you have separated Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Even after the bifurcation, you can see that our states itself were as big as countries in Europe. So Rajaji says, we are not a small state like some of the states in Europe or anywhere in the world. We are not a new state with no tradition or culture to look up to. We are not small. At the same time, we are not new. Ancient culture. What beautiful culture. Today, NASA proves that whatever we have told is coming true. Even before we went into the British hands, whatever we have said, predicted, is being proved to be true today. So, we are not a small country, or we are not an uncultured country. We are very, very civilized country. So, we are not a new state with no tradition and culture, that you have to build a tradition and culture. No need. You just preserve that tradition and culture. That's enough. You don't need to build another tradition or culture, because already we have a very rich culture, a very rich tradition. You just preserve it. That's enough. We are a great big country. Even after partition, we are a great big country, and we are a very ancient people with literature and culture. Remember, students, even after the partition, even after the bifurcation, we are still a big country, and we are still very cultured. The ancient people with literature and culture, they are good educated people in India. Don't think people are uneducated, illiterates. They had such beautiful Vedic culture. What not they have written in the Vedic books, which has been proved today by NASA that it is true. So that beautiful literature and culture we had, which if we could not sell to any other nation, they would sell their whole empire to buy. If you want to sell your culture, if we could sell to any other nation, supposing you wanted to sell your culture, your tradition to somebody, to purchase that culture, Indians' rich culture and rich tradition, to purchase it, they have to sell their empire. Their entire empire they have to sell to purchase our tradition and culture. Such beautiful tradition and culture we have. Why do you want to look into some other's cultures and want to ape it? We have to work hard and live up to that tradition and culture. So students, our utmost duty is to preserve that culture and tradition and to uplift it. You proudly show your culture and tradition to everybody. Why should you ape somebody, or why should you follow somebody? Let everybody follow you. Therefore, friends, take what I say very seriously. Please try to understand what I say. Take it very seriously. It is easy to be straightforward. So don't think straightforwardness is very difficult. No. We have a very rich culture of being very, very genuine, very straightforward. Only this British people has introduced the crooked nature or the hypocritic nature into us. We are not like that. We never butter anybody. We never bend our knees before anybody. We are of rich culture of being dominating with the kingdoms, the kings, the king system, the kingdoms. They're very, very courageous and very straightforward. They never butter anybody and dig holes behind. They straightforwardly go. They never arrow anybody from the back. No. British has a culture of stabbing from the back. We never had. We always open our chests and receive the arrows. Such beautiful culture. Even during the freedom fight, when the Indians were fighting against the British, you could see when they were mercilessly killing the people who were in the processions. They never used a weapon. They never hurt the British. They were only continuously going with slogans under the Gandhi's rule. Under Gandhi's freedom fight, they were continuously asking them to quit India with slogans, not with weapons. And even when the British were trying to fire them off, completely kill them, they were only opening their chest and receiving the bullets and dying, but they never turned against. What beautiful culture we have. We are so straightforward. We never backstab somebody. Difficulties that arise in life can always be overcome. Even if you fail, it will still add to your glory. Don't think success is glory. Withstanding and facing somebody is glory. Even if you fail, you are still having a glory. Remember, students, anybody who is very genuine will be always honored. You can easily identify a person who is very genuine or a person who is very crooked. You may respect him on his face, but at the back you laugh at him. A real glory is to be very, very straightforward. Therefore, let us make up our minds that we shall in no matter stray from the path of rectitude. Stray means to quickly change. What is the meaning of this? To quickly change. So I tell you, don't take diversions. When somebody is coming in front of you, face them. Be bold. Don't run away. In the first few years of Free India, whatever be the work that comes to you, that is your God. That is your God-sent job. I repeat, students, he says, in the first few years of Free India, definitely we have to struggle. Okay, because you're blossoming up. You're completely destroyed by the British. And now you have to set right. After a big cyclone, when the entire garden or entire cultivated crop is destroyed, how hard you have to struggle to upright it. In the same way, in the first few years, whatever be the work that comes to you, that is your God-sent job. Remember, whatever work comes to you, don't think, I don't do this. This is not my job. No. Think that it is a job sent by God and obey it. Accept it. You must do that work. No exemption, you have to do that work. We must all resolve that during this period, when we are lying the glorious fountain of Free India, there is no time for wrangling. Can you see the meaning of wrangling here? Engaged in long disputes, anger. No. Let somebody comment you. Why? Dogs bark behind an elephant. Elephant know what it is. So you don't get engaged in disputes. You don't try to be, crooked in your character. See, morally correction in behavior or thinking. So don't come out of rectitude. Don't come out of it. And don't get engaged into disputes. So there is no time for wrangling or competitive ambitions. I'm ambitious. I want to get this. Why should I worry about my country? I should worry about myself. I'm very ambitious. I want to get this. And to get this, I go for crooked paths. I do whatever is easy and convenient to me. You are not destroying your nation. Remember, nation means people. You're destroying your own self. Nation doesn't mean a piece of land. It means people. So you are deceiving your people, and you are one of the people. That means you're deceiving yourself. It is time for everyone to seize whatever work he can find and do it as well as he can do it in double shift, night, day, and build India quickly. So now it is high time. It is a time for everyone to seize whatever work. Grab whatever work you can get, you can do. Grab it and do it. To seize whatever work he can find and do it as well as he can do it. So now is the time that you have to quickly take in whichever work you can do. Quickly take it and do it. And if you want, do it double shift. Can you see? Whatever work he can find and do it as well as he can, you have to do it. And do double shift, night and day. Now don't try to go for a single shift. Don't say, I'm tired, it's out of my hands. No. Day and night try to work. Then only we are going to build India quickly. What kind of India? A prosperous India. A very strong India. A very rich India. If you want to be rich, your country should be rich. And when you go abroad and tell I'm an Indian, it's an honor. They should feel proud. So students, here he beautifully delivers the speech. I am old and I wish to see glorious India before I die. I'm very old. I become very old, students. But you are young, and I hope that before I could die, you're going to make a beautiful country like this. It is only young men and women like you who can guide the nation and guide it in the right direction. So I hope, I become old. I've struggled and I've given the motherland to you. Now it is your job to protect it. It is only young men and women like you who can guide the nation and guide it in the right direction. You are the leaders of India. Can you see this point? What is a leader? Once there is a mission, if you sit and you instruct people to do, you are not a leader. You're only a boss. You're not a leader. But when you are in front of them and equally along with them when you do the hard work, then only you are a leader. See how beautiful the words are. You are the leaders of excuse me. You are the leaders of India. A country with 400 million require many leaders. The country India is having 400 millions upon the time, at that time. It has 400 millions. So how many leaders it requires? Everyone has to be a leader to instruct himself and to lead the country and the nation forward. Leaders are not only those whose faces appear in the newspapers. Don't think because I'm a leader, my photograph has to be in the newspaper. No. He who guides people around him in his village or town or home is also a leader. You are a leader of your family, you're a leader of your colony, you're a leader of your community, you're a leader of your country. So, he who guides people around him in his village or town or home is also a leader, and he should be a leader worthy of future India. So we want these kind of leaders, not politicians. Today, unfortunately, we only have politicians and we don't have leaders. We want leaders for our country. Therefore, the universities are here. Universities are the hopes of our nation leaders. Our government hopes that the universities will produce rapidly year after year thousands and thousands of leaders to guide people aright in honesty, hard work throughout the country. So I request that the educational system has to build good citizens. The students are to be shaped for the prosperity of their country. That kind of education system should be applied where the students are turned with a very, very good conduct and character. Then all will be well. All is well. India will grow not like a structure but like a tree. This is a structure. I don't want this kind of country. I want this kind of nature. But what is man doing? Unfortunately, can you see students here? The whichever branches is giving him shade. Can you see the shade here? Okay? The trees give shade. You take the shade from the tree and then you're chopping it off. Can you see the branch broken here? This is man. Man receives the shade. He receives the shade. And ultimately, trees give shade. He receives it. And then chops. He then chops off the branch. This is how the man is in today's world. So he says, India will grow not like a structure but like a tree. India will grow like a natural organic body if only you are true to yourself. Can you break the arms of your mother? She's an organic body. Can you chop her off? No. Then why are you doing that deceiving to your nation? Mother India. You call your country as a mother, but you're chopping every part out of her. So he says, I don't want this kind of structural country, but I want an organic body where you will be taking care of it. So with that, we have completed the lesson. the syllabus is completed. Thank you, students. Have a nice time.